Now all the quartermasters survived because they were all allocated lifeboats. And the important thing is that Robert he was in charge of the lifeboat, but he wasn't in charge of loading the lifeboat. That was down to Lightoller on the port side and Officer Murdoch on the starboard side. And Robert's boat, Lifeboat 6, was probably about the sixth one to leave Titanic. But you've got to remember that nobody wanted to leave Titanic. It was a warm boat, it was a warm ship, nobody wanted to leave. And why would you get on a little boat in the middle of the Atlantic when you could be on this big lifeboat, as it were? So it was let down with only around about 28 people on board. And that was, I say, not his choice. That was Lightoller who had said it was to be women and children only, which was a struggle for Robert because he needed more men to be on board. And so there was a sailor that went down. And he says in his testimony that because of the list of the ship, that the boats on the port side were actually leaning towards the ship, and as the lifeboat was being lowered, they actually had to push away from the ship to actually get the lifeboat to go down. But it's important to remember that he was also told that there was a ship in the distance, which they thought maybe was a steamer that they could see the light of, and Captain and Lightoller basically said to them all that they were to head for that light, drop them off, then come back for more passengers. So this was a direct order from an officer and the captain for Robert, and he wasn't going to sway from that at all because that was what he'd been asked to do. So he took charge of Lifeboat 6 and he was at the tiller. Now at some point he decided it might be a good idea if he could maybe help with the rowing and let someone else do the tiller, so he let a lady do some of the work, but they seemed to be going around in circles. So he decided that wasn't going to work, so he went back to the tiller. And he was there really from 1 o'clock in the morning right through to around about 8 o'clock in the morning, standing at the back. He had no hat and he was cold because he was standing to all the elements. And there was a lady there that just said to him, look, we'll give you this blanket. And so he was given like a half wet, half dry blanket to cover himself. And he was given a spoonful of what he wasn't sure whether it was whiskey or some kind of alcohol that helped him just to keep him warm. So he was asked around about 500 questions, just under 500 questions at the inquiry, and it's a fantastic read actually for me, because when you've got someone's testimony, so you've got my great-grandfather's testimony all written out, which gives the whole story of Titanic and what he did in every way up to the point of being rescued, is quite fascinating. But he did head for the light, and it was about a mile away before then the lights of Titanic went out, and also the light in the distance had disappeared as well, so there wasn't anywhere to row towards. So then they were left stranded really, and it says that they basically tied each other together, some lifeboats tied together, and basically there they waited until eventually Carpathia came near. And he said in his testimony that he actually waited till everybody was off the lifeboat before he got off himself. So I think there's a lot with Robert. I'm not saying that he was a perfect man, because he certainly was, and I'm sure there were choice words used on the lifeboat, and he had quite a hard life afterwards. But I do feel that he did everything he could to the letter. He followed every order to the letter.